shelter, oh my God, and it becometh him that seeketh that shelter to abide within the sanctuary of thy protection and the stronghold of thy defense. Illumine my inner being, oh my Lord, with the splendors of the day spring of thy revelation, even as thou didst illumine my outer being with the morning light of thy favor. Well, good morning, everyone. Hello, out there in Facebook land and everyone over here in Zoom. And we hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday wherever you are, or whatever. You might not even see this on Sunday. Who knows? So maybe whatever day it is for you when you happen to be watching this program, we hope you're doing well. And we're glad that you're joining us. Today's a little bit different. As you can see, I'm here by myself, and we've got Mike here. But I'm like, okay, we're already 5 minutes late, so we're gonna keep it as is. What's that again? Oh, two more coming. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so as you know, well, no, Daryl. What I was getting ready to say is, Daryl, as you can see, is not here. I'm here by myself, and we're going to continue studying the seven valleys. But as always, let's start with a prayer. O thou compassionate Lord, thou who art generous and able, we are servants of thine, sheltered beneath thy providence. Cast thy glance of favor upon us. Give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Render our souls joyous and happy through thy glad tidings. O Lord, point out to us the pathway of thy kingdom, and resuscitate all of us through the breaths of the Holy Spirit. Bestow upon us life everlasting, and confer upon us never-ending honor. Unify mankind and illumine the world of humanity. May we all follow thy pathway, long for thy good pleasure, and seek the mysteries of thy kingdom. O God, unite us and connect our hearts with thy indissoluble bond. Verily, thou art the giver, thou art the kind one, and thou art the Almighty. And this is a prayer by Abdul Baha. I don't believe I said good morning to you, Jeremiah. So good morning, Jeremiah. How you doing over there? You're good. You're good. You're good. Excellent. Now, for those of you who have been joining us, we've been studying the seven valleys, and not the four valleys yet. We're still not sure if we're going to go into the four valleys, but the seven valleys by Baha'u'llah. And we have a companion text that gives us a little more insight, and I've been using that too, been consulting that. As you can see, self-study notes for the seven valleys of Baha'u'llah. Yes, and as I occasionally like to do, I didn't think to bring those papers out. I hope I have them here, because what I like to do on occasion is kind of do a quick little review, and I'm not seeing the papers that I usually refer to. Wait a minute, there they are. I'm glad I happen to have this right here. Okay, so what are good morning, Nevada? I'll say hello again to Ingrid. So what are the seven valleys all about? I'm going to read that again. Okay. The seven valleys by Baha'u'llah is like a map for your soul's journey. Ah, is like a map for your soul's journey to connect with the divine. It's not about physical places, but about the different stages you go through as you grow spiritually. And I'm going to read something that expresses it in a slightly more complex way. The Seven Valleys is a mystical treatise written by Baha'u'llah that outlines the progressive stages of a soul's journey toward union with the divine. The poetic work, it is a poetic work, uses rich imagery and allegory to describe the inner transformation required as one distances the self from worldly attachments and moves towards spiritual illumination. So, again, while a lot of physical imagery is used, this is not about the physical, it is about the spiritual. And it says, while the text embraces symbolic language typical of many mystical traditions, it offers practical insights for the seeker committed to inner change. And I think that word committed is really important. Okay, there's a purpose for this. It is very easy to read this and even read any other kind of spiritually based text and maybe even appreciate the poetic value of it or the beauty in which it's written and just feel like, oh, it's another poem, it's another piece of literature, set it aside and go on about living your life. But as stated here, it offers practical insights for the seeker committed to inner change. Okay. And right now, we have come down to the last of the seven valleys. We've been through the valley of search, the valley of love, the valley of knowledge, the valley of unity, contentment, and wonderment. And now we are in the final of these seven valleys, true poverty and absolute nothingness. True poverty and absolute nothingness. Now, it's important to read what's here because, let's face it, there is true poverty. I mean, well, I don't even want to say it that way. You don't have to go far in most places to see poverty. Maybe, or to see what you think of as poverty. And maybe you yourself are someone who feels that you yourself are in a state of poverty when we're talking about material things, of course. I am someone who grew up very poor, so in that way, I have an understanding of poverty in material ways. But this is not that kind of poverty. This is not that kind of poverty. A brief synopsis. This isn't about being poor in the material sense. It is about letting go of your ego, your attachments, and everything that is holding you back. I guess the next question might be holding you back from what? Well, if you remember what the purpose of this is, to get back to that first thing we said, interchange. Holding you back from coming closer to uh, the divine and having a deeper spirituality. Okay, but again, I won't. Well, maybe I do need to finish reading that. And it's about letting go of your ego, your attachments, and everything that's holding you back. It's about surrendering to something greater than yourself and realizing that in the end, we are all just a small part of the divine. I have to call. I thought that had gone away, and I didn't get any water for myself this morning, but or at least when I got here. So you might have to put up with that for a while. So let's go on back into this now. It has been 2 weeks. It has been 2 weeks. And I will admit that as I was preparing this morning, I have my a little secret I can tell you. What I usually do is go back to the previous video. If I haven't marked it, I usually do mark it, but sometimes I forget. And go back to the previous video and see what we left off, where we left off. Did not do that this time. Did not do that this time. So, and I'm looking at some things that I'm sure we did read. I did have a page dog-eared here, so I'm going to start there, where it says, "The beloved shineth on gate and wall, without a veil, O men of vision." In fact, I'm going to go back to the previous paragraph that before that. "O brother, not every sea hath pearls, not every branch will flower, nor will the nightingale sing thereon. Then, ere the nightingale of the mystic paradise repair to the garden of God, and the rays of the heavenly morning return to the Sun of Truth, make thou an effort, make thou an effort, that haply in this dust heap of the of the mortal world, bless you, Ingrid. I love that imagery there. That haply in this dust heap of the mortal world, thou mayest catch a fragrance from the everlasting garden, and live forever in the shadow of the peoples of this city. And when thou hast attained this highest station and come to this mightiest place, then shalt thou gaze on the beloved and forget all else. And again, we're using physical imagery there, but this is not physical. I mean, we can look around and see that, yeah, the earth is physical. Of course it is. But if you're attached too much to it, it blocks your spiritual development. And that's why he says, make thou an effort that haply in this dust heap of the mortal world, thou mayest catch a fragrance from the everlasting garden. And the everlasting garden, of course, is spiritual. I'm going to pick this book up here uh, because the way this is written, the author actually, um, has it paragraph by paragraph. Okay, and he points out this is in the Seven Valleys. This is actually paragraph 104, 104. He points to then ere the nightingale of the mystic paradise repair to the garden of God. Baha'u'llah refers to himself in many places of his writings as the nightingale of paradise. And some of you older people may remember a song by Seals and Crofts. Stills and Crofts were Baha'is. And the name of the song was Nightingale of Paradise, correct? Yeah. And that was a reference to Baha'u'llah. Surprise, 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 I'm sure for some of you. But Baha'u'llah refers to himself in many places of his writings as the Nightingale of Paradise. A very famous example of this is the opening verse of the Tablet of Ahmad, a well known prayer in Baha'i circles. And that opening line says, Lo, the nightingale of paradise singeth upon the twigs of the tree of eternity. Another line in this paragraph says, and this is a phrase, and live forever in the shadow of the peoples of this city. You need to understand that, again, I think in physical terms, we like to think of, I remember in the Bible, Jesus says, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. I don't know about you, but in my mind, growing up Christian, I'm picturing mansions as you might have in an amazing, beautiful city. But it says here in the writings of Baha'u'llah, the city is a symbol of religion and the revelation of the word of God. They that valiantly labor in quest of God's will, when once they have renounced all else but him, will be so attached and wedded to that city that a moment's separation from it would to them be unthinkable. He goes on, this is actually rather lengthy. I don't want to spend too much time on it. They will hearken unto infallible proofs from the high ascent of that assembly, and receive the surest testimonies from the beauty of its rose and the melody of its nightingale. And once in about 1,000 years shall this city, remember religion, revelation, once in about 1,000 years shall this city be renewed and readorned. And he goes on. And this is actually from a passage from the Kitabi Igan, or what we call that's Arabic for, is that Arabic or Persian? But in English, it's the Book of Certitude. It is a rather lengthy treatise of where Baha'u'llah explains what much of the imagery in previous texts, primarily the Quran, but also the Bible, what much of that imagery actually means and how we are in the day of a new revelation. And he gives proofs towards that in that book. And I'm holding my book upside down here. But he goes on. The beloved shineth on gate and wall without a veil, O men of vision. And that is actually paragraph 105. Really interesting. Even light can be a veil. It says, the beloved shineth on gate and wall without a veil, O men of vision. Now hast thou abandoned the drop of life and come to the sea of the life bestower. when you connect, you have abandoned this drop of life that we, I'll say, enjoy or endure, shall we say, and you've come to the sea of the life bestower. This is the goal thou didst ask for. If it be God's will, thou wilt gain it. I mean, early this morning, Jeremiah and I were having a conversation in which we were actually talking about atheism and how, you have atheists who are actually very religious, very religious about their atheism. And I look at this and I think of those of us who are indeed not atheists, but we are uh, striving, for those of us who practice whatever religion you may practice, we're striving to have, hopefully, a closer relationship with God. And how Allah is saying, now hast thou abandoned the drop of life and come to the sea of the life bestower. This is the goal thou did ask for. If it be God's will, thou wilt gain it. And I believe there's something here. I don't want to again belabor this. I kind of am already doing it, but again, if this is what we're looking for, it's not just a choice; it's actually a duty. Yes, it says the highest station is the recognition of the manifestation of God as revealed in the first verse of the Kitabiyatas, which is I know what that means, and I'm having a senior moment. Um, the most holy book. The first duty prescribed by God to his servants is the recognition of him who is the dayspring of his revelation and the fountain of his laws, who representeth the Godhead in both the kingdom of his God and the world of creation. Why is that important? It's important because if we're on this spiritual journey trying to get closer to God, how do you get closer to God? Through the teachings of the manifestation of God and belief in the manifestations of God. The teachings of the manifestations of God and belief in the manifestation of God. So, to continue, this is the goal thou did ask for. If it be God's will, thou wilt gain it. Remember, we're talking about a city, the city of religion and revelation. In this city, even if the veils of light are split asunder and vanish away. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. In this city, even the veils of light. Listen to what he's saying. The veils of light. Think about, have you ever looked at a light that was so bright you couldn't see anything else? That light was a veil to anything else that might have been there. And he's saying, in this city, even the veils of light are split asunder and vanish away. His beauty hath no veiling save light, his face no covering save revelation. How strange. Oh, I love this. How strange that while the beloved is visible as the sun, yet the heedless still hunt after tinsel and base metal. Anyone want to tell me what that means? And I mean that metaphorically, unless someone here in the room wants to speak to that. How strange that while the beloved is in caps, in capitals. I mean, well, it begins with a capital as a reference either to God or the manifestation of God. How strange that while the beloved is visible as the sun, yet the heedless still hunt after tinsel and base metal. Anyone ever heard that song, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places? It's kind of saying that. You're looking for something, you're looking for things that are, shiny objects, shall we say, you're distracted by. And yet the beloved is as visible as the sun. Yea, the intensity of his revelation hath covered him, and the fullness of his shining forth hath hidden him. Even as the sun, bright hath he shined. But alas, he hath come. Oh my goodness, here's another one. Even as the sun, bright hath he shined. But alas, he hath come to the town of the blind. It's right there, and you still can't see it. Moving on. In this valley, the wayfarer leaveth behind him the stages of the oneness of being and manifestation, and reacheth a oneness that is sanctified above these two stations, the stages of oneness of being and manifestation. I will admit it gets extremely complex here. I'll start again. In this valley, remember we're in the valley of absolute poverty and nothingness. In this valley, the wayfarer leaveth behind him the stages of the oneness of being and manifestation, and reacheth a oneness that is sanctified above these two stations. Ecstasy alone can encompass this theme, not utterance nor argument. Ecstasy alone can encompass this theme, not utterance nor argument. And whosoever hath dwelt at the stage of the journey, whosoever hath dwelt at this stage of the journey, or caught a breath from this garden land, knoweth whereof we speak. Ecstasy. Ecstasy alone can encompass this theme. In all these journeys, the traveler must stray not the breadth of a hair from the law. I'm going to read that again. In all these journeys, the traveler must stray not the breadth of a hair from the law, that's in quotes, for this is indeed the secret of the path, also in quotes, and the fruit of the tree of truth, also in quotes. I'm going to read that again. In all these journeys, the traveler must stray not the breadth of a hair from the law, for this is indeed the secret of the path and the fruit of the tree of truth. And in all these stages, he must cling to the robe of obedience to the commandments and hold fast to the cord of shunning all forbidden things, that he may be nourished from the cup of the law and informed of the mysteries of truth. I'm thinking of another another song that's a secular song, but there was a song back in the 70s, maybe it was the 80s, I think it was the 70s, back in the era of funk music and secular music. Um, the song was Ain't No Half Steppin'. Not a religious song, not a religious song. But I think about that, and this seems to be saying, no, this is not a half done thing. If you really want to be in the land in the valley of poverty, of absolute poverty, then you do not stray from the law, for this is indeed the secret of the path and the fruit of the tree of truth. And in all these stages, he must cling to the robe of obedience to the commandments and hold fast to the cord of shunning all forbidden things, that he may be nourished from the cup of the law and informed of the mysteries of truth. I want to look in here. I have not seen exactly what this author says in reference to that. That's paragraph 109. He doesn't say everything about anything about every paragraph, but uh, I'm interested in seeing what he says about that. I honestly didn't think we'd get that far today. Um, Here we are. Luckily, I read ahead. I'm glad. Okay. In this valley, the wayfarer leaveth behind him the stages of oneness of being and manifestation, and reacheth a oneness that is sanctified above these two stations. It says here, and he goes into uh, giving some references to definitions of certain terms that are in Persian or Arabic. Um, but it's talking about the oneness of being, which may also be translated as existential oneness or as existential unity. And I'm just going to jump down from what he says. It's rather lengthy, but he says Baha'u'llah explains that in this valley, the wayfarer moves through the stages of the existential unity and manifestational unity and reaches a unity that is sanctified above those two stations of existential unity and manifestational unity. I think maybe I should read what I skipped. I'm going to go back because those things I think are pretty crucial to our understanding. It seems that Baha'u'llah is referring to two distinct onenesses here because he refers to them, as you heard me read, as two stations. The term oneness of being is a translation of the term Vahud. I think I'm reading it wrong, but I'll leave it at that. In fact, I'm pretty sure I am. Vadat Vahud, which may also be translated as existential oneness or existential unity. The term oneness of manifestation, a reference to God or the manifestation of God. The term oneness of manifestation here is a translation of the term Vadat Ishahud. Thus, Baha'u'llah that explains that in this valley, the wayfarer moves through the stages of the existential unity and manifestational unity and reaches a unity that is even higher, that is sanctified above those two stations. Now, he may go into describing what that higher level is. I don't know. He does talk, some of this comes out of, I dare say, Sufism and some other origins, but yes, some of it is a reference to Sufism. But there's another school of thought here that says the second school of thought is apparent or manifestational oneness. This school of thought is based on the belief that there is no similarity or connection between the nature of God and his creation. Now, I sometimes I put little notes here that mind blowing, that things that blow my mind. And here I wrote wow and put a little star here. So I'm gonna read what I have underlined here. It says, a wayfarer who achieves the highest level of illumination and true understanding will realize that God's attributes are manifested in every created thing. You look here, you see God. You look there, you see God. God's attributes are manifested in every created thing. His oneness appears and is manifested in every and all parts of his creation. However, this wayfarer will also understand that God neither materializes within creation nor takes the shape or form of a created thing, but is separate from his creation. And I'm going to jump down here, further down. Those who reach this stage realize that existential oneness, let's just say existence, I'll even call it personal existence. That's my translation. Nobody else. I have no authority. But those who reach this stage realize that existential oneness is dying in God, dying in God. And manifestational oneness is living perpetually with God, but in a separate state of existence. Another wow. Now, further down, Baha'u'llah, and pardon me for, again, for belaboring this, but I just feel it gives us a little more insight. Further down, Baha'u'llah describes uh, um, as the essence of belief in divine unity. This is what Baha'u'llah describes as the essence of belief in divine unity. And I love this. This is actually coming from Gleanings. If you've read Gleanings, you'll recognize this. He says, some, deluded by their idle fancies, have conceived all created things as associates and partners of God, and imagine themselves to be the exponents of his unity. By him who is the one true God, such men have been and will continue to remain the victims of blind imitation, and are to be numbered with them that have restricted and limited the conception of God. He is a true believer in divine unity, who, far from confusing duality with oneness, refuseth to allow any notion of multiplicity to becloud his conception of the singleness of God, who will regard the divine being as one who by his very nature transcendeth the limitations of numbers. Once you have decided that, okay, you can see God's creation, but once you have decided that that creation is God, well, then you're limiting God. Once you've decided that God looks like this, you're limiting God. But he says, he is a true believer in divine unity, who, far from confusing duality with oneness, refuseth to allow any notion of multiplicity to becloud his conception of the singleness of God, who will regard the divine being as one who, by his very nature, transcendeth the limitations of numbers. I think I'll go ahead and stop there and maybe. Okay. I hope I can find it again because I don't remember where it was. Was it? Do you remember if it was here or in? Okay, it was in here. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. You're putting me on the spot here. I know. I, um. Oh man, I hope I can find it because I do. I mean, I remember reading it, but oh, so maybe I can find it. Okay, here it is. Right. Thank you. Baha'u'llah describes as I'm sorry. This is what Baha'u'llah describes as the essence of belief in divine unity. Some, deluded by their idle fancies, have conceived all created things as associates and partners of God, and imagine themselves to be the exponents of his unity. By him who is the one true God, this is like Baha'u'llah scoffing at that idea. By him who is the one true God, such men have been and will continue to remain the victims of blind imitation, and are to be numbered with them that have restricted and limited the conception of God. Is that enough? Okay. Okay. I have a song here that I'm almost afraid to sing. Not that it's a bad song, but I need help on it. And the help that I need is you all simply saying, make haste. Even if we can't hear you. Even if we can't hear you. Let me turn myself up a little bit. Make haste. All you have to do over and over again, from the beginning to the end of this song, is over and over again just say, make haste. Let me hit a chord. Make haste. Make haste. Make haste. Make haste. Good, good, good. I do want you to know where this is coming from. There is a passage by Abdul Baha where it's very poetic, and he's saying, make haste. It starts out with, make haste to love, make haste to trust, make haste to give, to guidance come. That's the beginning, and there's more there. But I'd just like you to say that over and over again as I sing this. Make haste. Make haste. Make haste. Make haste. Make haste. Keep going. Make haste to love. Make haste to trust. Make haste to give. To guidance come. Oh, make haste. Make haste. Make haste. Make haste. Come near for harmony to behold the star of day. Come here for kindness, for ease. Come here for remedy and peace. Oh, make haste, make haste, make haste, make haste. Come and cast down your weapons of wrath till unity is won. Come and in the Lord's true path, each one help each one. Oh, make haste, make haste, make haste, make haste. Make haste to love, make haste to trust, make haste to give, to guidance come, to guidance come, to guidance come, make haste. I like that. Oh my goodness, that was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I went
Excuse
a
me,
little.
Tony, you are nearly inaudible. Your
Yeah,
vocals are.
I found out when Jeremiah came over and turned the sliders up a little bit. I apologize for that. Can you hear me better now, or is it still too low?
Yes, I can hear you better now.
Oh, now you can hear me. Well, you'll have to wait till next time, Andy. You'll hear the song next time. My apologies. My apologies on that. Um, we were running a little behind. We didn't really get a chance to do a full sound check the way we usually do. Um, so yes, but we're going to go ahead and move forward now. I'm tempted to read more, but I'm looking at the clock here, and maybe just a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit more. Ah, okay. If you recall, we left off, and in all these stages, he must cling to the robe of obedience to the commandments, and hold fast to the cord of shunning all forbidden things, that he may be nourished from the cup of the law and informed of the mysteries of truth. If any of the utterance of this servant, this is Baha'u'llah referring to himself, if any of the utterances of this servant may not be comprehended or may lead to perturbation, the same must be inquired of again, that no doubt may linger, and the meaning be clear as the face of the beloved one, in capitals again, as the face of the beloved one shining from the glorious station, also in capitals. These journeys, this is important, we're going to stop on this paragraph. These journeys have no visible ending in the world of time. These journeys have no visible ending in the world of time. But the severed wayfarer, if the invisible confirmation descend upon him, and the guardian of the cause assist him, the severed wayfarer may cross these 7 stations in 7 steps, nay, rather, in 7 breaths. Nay, rather, in a single breath, if God will and desire it. Everything is God's will. And this is of his grace on such of his servants as he pleaseth. Think about what that is saying. You still have to make the effort, but it all still comes down to God's will. I'm going to read that. That's a pretty important paragraph, and I think a good place to stop. But these, first of all, it's not about time. For some people, they might go through those, through those valleys like that. For some, it may take a lifetime. Listen to the way he says it again. These journeys have no visible ending in the world of time. Wait a minute. He's saying the journey goes beyond this world. At least that's the way I'm interpreting it. Once again, no authority, but that's what it sounds like. These journeys have no visible ending in the world of time. Or maybe we can't see the ending. Have no visible ending in the world of time. But the severed wayfarer, he who has cut himself off from all of this in the world and so forth, but the severed wayfarer, if invisible confirmation descend upon him, and the guardian of the cause assist him, may cross these 7 stages in 7 steps, nay, rather in 7 breaths, nay, rather in a single breath, if God will and desire it. And this is of his grace on such of his servants as he pleaseth. And yes, I am going to stop there. And anyone who would like to utter up a prayer at this time, this is that time. So do we have anyone who would like to share a prayer? We usually have a microphone set up, but we're not going to go through that right now. And so that means that the people in the Zoom and well, Facebook will probably be able to hear it. But as always, we like to start out with a song. I see Andy just came on. So good morning again, Andy.
Good morning.
Do you have something to share with us? I'm assuming you do.
Your assumption is always well. I applaud you because your assumption is always correct.
Fantastic. Well, always might be a strong term, but please.
Well, about that subject. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
All right. Oh God, my heart's desire. 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 Is there any remover of difficulties save God? Say praise be God, He is God. All are His servants, and all abide by His bidding. Say God sufficeth all things above all things, and nothing in the heavens or the earth but God sufficeth. Verily He is in Himself the knower, sustainer, the omnipotent.
Thank you, Andy.
You're welcome.
I like the way you joined all those prayers together. That was nice. Is there anyone else who would like to share?
Sure. Give me a moment. By the way, I always enjoy those Andy Murphy comment moments. And it sounds like there was like a little bit of moon shadow in some of that.
I hadn't thought about that, but you are 100% correct.
But anyhow, praise be thou, O Lord my God. Every time I attempt to make mention of thee, I am hindered by the sublimity of thy station and the overpowering greatness of thy might. For were I to praise thee throughout the length of thy dominion and the duration of thy sovereignty, I would find that my praise of thee can befit only such as are like unto me, who are themselves thy creatures, and who have been generated through the power of thy decree, and been fashioned through the potency of thy will, and at whatever time my pen ascribeth glory to any one of thy names, methinks I can hear the voice of its lamentation in its remoteness from thee, and can recognize its cry because of its separation from thyself. I testify that everything other than thee is but thy creation and is held in the hollow of thy hand. To have accepted any act of praise from thy creatures is but an evidence of the wonders of thy grace and bountiful favors and the manifestation of thine generosity and providence. I entreat thee, O my Lord, by thy most great name, whereby thou dost separate light from fire and truth from denial, to send down upon me and upon such of my loved ones as are in my company of the good of this world and of the next. Supply us, then, with thy wondrous gifts that are held from the eyes of men. Thou art verily the fashioner of all creation. Thou God deserveth thee, the Almighty, the All-Glorious, the Most High.
Thank you, Andy. Now, Ingrid, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I noticed you took your prayer book out. Would you like to share a prayer? It's totally up to you. I'm not forcing you. Would you like to share a prayer? Please.
I can't hear her. I can't hear her.
Yes, she's praying, though, so I know you can't because we don't have her mic'd, but please continue. Mhm. Thank you, Ingrid. Yeah, we didn't set up a. We usually have a mic set up. We ran out of time and didn't set one up there. But thank you, Ingrid, very much. Um, yeah. Is there anyone else who would like to share?
I would.
Please, please, Kim. Hmm.
O thou kind Lord, thou hast created all humanity from the same stock. Thou hast decreed that all shall belong to the same household. In thy holy presence, they are all thy servants, and all mankind are sheltered beneath thy tabernacle. All have been gathered together at thy table of bounty. All are illumined through the light of thy providence. O God, thou art kind to all. Thou hast provided for all, dost shelter all, confers life upon all. Thou hast endowed each and all with talents and faculties, and all are submerged in the ocean of thy mercy. O thou kind Lord, unite all, let the religions agree, and make the nations one, so that they may see each other as one family and the whole world as one home. May they all live together in perfect harmony. O God, raise aloft the banner of the oneness of mankind. O God, establish the most great peace. Cement thou, O God, the hearts together. O thou kind Father God, gladden our hearts through the fragrance of thy love. Brighten our eyes through the light of thy guidance. Delight our ears with the melody of thy word, and shelter us all in the stronghold of thy providence. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Thou art the forgiving, and thou art the one who overlooketh the shortcomings of all mankind.
Thank you, Kim. Now, if you are someone who would like to know more about the Baha'i Faith, if you're already here, I'm assuming you already do want to know more, or you already are, on that path. And let's say some of you may. Wait a minute. Was there someone else who wanted to share a prayer? Oh, no.
Yes, I can share one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Please.
Oh mon Dieu, unis les cœurs de tes serviteurs et révèle ton grand dessein. Puissant-il esprit, tes commandements et observe ta loi. Et les, oh mon Dieu, dans les efforts et tes couleurs, la force de ta styrus. Oh Dieu, ne les abandonne pas à eux-mêmes, mais de la lumière de ta connaissance, guide leurs pas, et de ton amour réjouit le cœur. En vérité, tu es le soutien du Seigneur. Baha'u'llah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, we're almost out of time here. If you want to know more about the Baha'i Faith, there are some websites that you can go to. We always like to share those. You probably can't see that, but it's Baha'i.org, www, of course, Baha'i.org, Baha'i.us, BahaiTeachings.org. And you can even go to ClearwaterBaha'is.org. This is where we are actually at the Clearwater Baha'i Center. And they have a website just packed full with information. You can also go to their YouTube channel and look at some of their various things that they posted from other programs and so forth, including this one. Um, and so again, if you are someone who we don't know what valley you're in, we might not even know what valley we're in personally, but to be on the journey is what's important. And if you happen to be someone who feels that the writings of Baha'u'llah and the other writings of the heroes of the Baha'i faith, we call them heroes, Baha'u'llah, the Bab, Abdul Baha, it's worth looking into. It's not a waste of time. And we think that anyone who chooses to do so can gain some great insights, whether you choose to actually become a member of the faith or not. But we encourage you to do that. And even if you don't do that, as Daryl always says when he's here, make sure you spread the love. Now, I don't know if this is loud enough, but
Your guitar is plenty loud. It was your vocals that needed to come up.
oh, okay, okay. I'm just going to go ahead and
But I think they're better balanced now.
okay, but I keep looking at the clock and we've only got a couple of minutes. But again, I'm just going to read this because I can do this in a couple of minutes. These are passages that are in this song, and I'm just going to read them. How vast is the tabernacle of the cause of God, who hath overshadowed all the peoples and kindreds of the earth, and will ere long gather together the whole of mankind beneath his shelter. It is incumbent upon every man in this day to hold fast unto whatsoever will promote the interests and exalt the station of all nations and just governments. And just governments. Through each and every one of the verses which the pen of the Most High hath revealed, the doors of love and unity have been unlocked and flung open to the face of men. We have erewhile declared, and our word is the truth, consort with the followers of all religions in a spirit of friendliness and fellowship. And then he refers to people as, O people of justice. Be as brilliant as the light and as splendid as the fire that blazed in the burning bush. The brightness of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth, whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin. Who can refute that? Those are my words. Who can refute that? And then he says, we beseech God that he may shield his creatures from the evil designs of his enemies. He verily hath power over all things. And finally, he tells us, watch over yourselves, for the evil one is lying in wait ready to entrap you. Gird yourselves against his wicked devices. And led by the light of the name of the all-seeing God, make your escape from the darkness that surroundeth you. And he says, let your vision be world-embracing, let your vision be world-embracing rather than confined to your own self. Let your vision be world-embracing. We sing it every Sunday, a little better than that. These are the words of Baha'u'llah. So if you remember nothing else we said today, let your vision be world-embracing rather than confined to your own self. Folks, have yourself a good week, and thanks for sharing this time with us. We'll see you next week.